for the Ashland Board of City Commission. If you will rise, we'll ask Commissioner Goot to do our invocation, and Mr. Wirtz, if you'd lead us in our pledge.
Let's pray. Lord, we come this afternoon thanking you for our city. We ask and invite your Holy Spirit to enter our chambers and to preside over our meeting today. We ask for your wisdom and guidance over this Board of Mayor Commissioners as we attempt to make the right decisions for our city and the citizens we serve. Bless our city manager, our staff and employees, and those in attendance today. We pray always in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Let's stand and salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please. It's hard to keep up with. Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Down there, Mike.
Motion to receive and file the agenda is presented.
Second.
Any additions or corrections? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we'll move into our hearings and reports. Before we do that, I'd like to call on Mr. Wheeler. I believe you have a slight presentation for us.
Just a resolution for your consideration, Mayor and Commissioners. Resolution of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, recognizing March as Women's History Month and honoring Mary Elliott Flannery for her historic contributions to public service and journalism. Whereas March is nationally recognized as Women's History Month, a time dedicated to celebrating the achievements, leadership, and contributions of women throughout history. And whereas Mary Elliott Flannery, a resident of Kentucky and journalist for the Ashland Daily Independent, became the first woman elected to a state legislature south of the Mason-Dixon line following the ratification of the 19th Amendment granting women the right to vote. And whereas Mary Elliott Flannery's service as a legislator and journalist demonstrated courage, dedication, and commitment to expanding opportunities for women in public life. And whereas recognizing the achievements of pioneering women such as Mary Elliott Flannery inspires future generations to participate in public service and civic leadership. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City of Ashland, Kentucky, that March is hereby recognized as Women's History Month in the City of Ashland, that the City of Ashland honors the legacy of Mary Elliott Flannery as a pioneering legislator, journalist, and advocate whose leadership helped open the doors of public service to women across the Commonwealth, that this recognition encourages residents, schools, libraries, and civic organizations within the City of Ashland to reflect upon and celebrate the contributions of women past, present, and future to our shared civic life. And this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its adoption as required by law.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? I know that I also would like to add on to that, you know, the women in our community, but the women in our organization here, the City of Ashland. And I commend all of those ladies for what they do every day in their leadership, and they do that with dedication, and they have integrity and compassion in what they do in our city. Without you, we sometimes would be lost, and I appreciate what you all do. You inspire the generation that is here, and you inspire that next generation, but I wanted to add that especially for our city employees. So we have a first and a second, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Mr. Wheeler. Now we'll move into our mayor and commissioners. We'll start with Mr. Renfro.
Oh, thank you. When we get to new business, item E, I'm bad about skimming over stuff, and first thing I saw was a change order between the City of Ashland, Gita Construction. I thought, well, here we go. But I didn't realize it said decreasing. It's $724,000. Now, on a $100 million project, I know that's not a great amount, but in my house, that's a heck of a lot of money, and hopefully this is the sign of things to come. Also, Commissioner Reimer and the mayor and I were down in Frankfort yesterday at the KLC and spoke to some of our elected officials and the Agriculture Commission and trying to wrangle a few dollars out of them. Of course, what we heard was, you know, budget's tight. And so, but I think we've got a pretty good agriculture commissioner that may be able to help us out on the project.
Yeah, matter of fact, I've already been in contact with them this morning with that. All right, Commissioner Reimer.
I just want to welcome everybody to this noon meeting today. As Commissioner Renfro said, and Mayor Charles, we had a very productive meeting yesterday with KLC for the city day and night in Frankfort. Spoke to a lot of local legislators from across the state. We had communication with a lot of city leaders throughout the state, from us here in Ashland to all the way to Paducah, to Maysville, Covington, Frankfort. So we got to talk to a lot of folks and hear how some things hear about what's going on in their community and some things that we may be able to bring back to our community here. This past week in Ashland has been very busy. We had the C.B. Knuckles History Museum dinner, which was a great turnout. We had the Gravy Bowl, which I was unable to make that, but it looks like it was a resounding success. So we've got a big event tonight in our community too. So that's all I've got.
Mr. Martin?
Thanks for being here. It's nice to see the turnout that we have. I want to thank the city manager for putting the agenda on the website in advance of the meeting. I think it has been the practice to put it on either after the meeting or no earlier than the day of the meeting. And I think the community wants to know what we're meeting on, and I think that's an informative improvement. The event for the Black History Museum was a wonderful success. I want to thank Mr. Hall for the groundbreaking that we had on the wastewater treatment plant. I thought that went off very well. Look forward to the Paramount reception tonight. And I want to thank Sandy Woodward and Paula Bowling for proposing the Women's History Month resolution. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Commissioner Goot?
I'd just like to welcome everyone to our new meeting, and we had a couple ribbon cuttings downtown that I got to attend, and the first one is the Dandelion Patch there at the corner of 15th Street right there in the Mayo Arcade. I learned a great lesson: never take your wife to a grand opening of a boutique. But I wish them well, Mary Kay Rourke and Susan, her sister, and then I had the privilege of going to Mi Casita, the new Mexican restaurant at 16th Street, and I wish them well. Great food, great service. It's an excellent restaurant, and then of course, the Gravy Bowl you mentioned, and we have our grand reopening tonight of the Paramount. Thank you, leadership, new leadership are back there in the back, and thank you very much for your efforts. And then we have a district, I'm going to have to duck out a little early because we have a district championship tonight between Boyd County and Ashland, and there'll be a packed house out there. So that's all I have.
Thank you. I think, gentlemen, you've covered a lot of ground of what's going on, but I'm going to use my time and ask Mr. Cook to come up and with Venue Works and just give us an update of people that won't be able to make this evening, and give us a chance to see what where they're at.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. H.R. Cook with Venue Works, currently located at my residence in Dubuque, Iowa. It seems that Ashland is my second residence for the time being. This marks, I think, about 7 or 8 times we've been in town. Our update is absolutely fantastic. We had anticipated not having any events the first 6 months. And as Matt, I'm going to turn it over to him here in a minute. We're late. The phone is ringing. We have events coming in. We're going to announce some tonight. We do have an open house, kind of a grand reopening. Not necessarily ribbon cutting because they cut that back in the 30s, but a reimagination of the Paramount Theater with some heavy hors d'oeuvres and some light entertainment. We've got a jazz band coming in, and we're going to do some more announcements of our upcoming events tonight too. So our staff is coming along nicely. We got a great local staff. But more importantly, I wanted to take a moment to introduce our COO, Mike Silva, who came down from our headquarters, just to kind of reiterate that Ashland is not just a forgotten small market for VenueWorks. This is one of our cornerstones. We see this as one of our resume makers for our company, and we're building upon our business model based upon what's going on with Ashland. And we hope to be here for a long time and create a lot of success for you. But I just wanted to introduce Mike, who's our CEO. If you want to just kind of introduce yourself.
Thank you. HR is always such a hard act to follow. I mean, he's absolutely right. VenueWorks is a national company, but we love and we prosper in communities this size because we want to hire people to be our employee owners, to be part of this community, and to know what works here in Ashland. So we're so excited, and we're thrilled on the national level, all of the people that want to bring their tours here. So we have a lot of fun stuff to announce here today, beyond our expectations and hopefully beyond yours as well. So thank you for your time today. Appreciate it.
Matt, go ahead.
Hey guys, we've met before. I'm Matt. I'm from Louisa. We're also in the district championship, but we're in the 15th region, so we're okay. We'll see each other at Rupp, hopefully. That being said, though, we've hit the ground running. Our staff is, I'm from Louisa, and our marketing director is from Olive Hill, Colby Rice back here. And our food and beverage manager is from Huntington. His name is Jason Webb. And our event manager is from Ashland, Art Lima. If you notice something about that, it's distinctly our area, right? There are wonderful, qualified people that VenueWorks chose to be here, and local people working in our local theater to make sure that it's successful. We have 47 dates on hold right now already. That is because of the expertise of VenueWorks and the hard work of the staff. VenueWorks has such a wonderful reputation in the booking community that it's helped us hit the ground rolling. So we have 47 on hold and 45 already committed. Some of those include things that will never disappear from Ashland: Festival of Trees and Trains. The Paramount Players just announced SpongeBob. We have auditions tomorrow. We're getting the ball rolling, but the first thing we did when I took over as education director was meet with Maria Whaley and John Johnson and Rick Payne and talk to those kind of people who are the pillars of our community. Because here in Ashland and here in the tri-state, we take care of our people first. And then, you know, we have success with the national registry. So the last thing I'll say is that I've came up with a little bit of a motto for the Paramount right now, and is sustainability and creativity. We want to be creative. We want to do all of the amazing things. But also, 95 years from now, when someone else, unless I have impeccable health, is executive director of the Paramount Theater, we want to still be around. We want to be here for our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. So VenueWorks is helping me do that. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And one last thing I do want to say, because we have PAC Inc. Is still working with us now, and they are presenting the Paramount Players. So that combination and that partnership still exists. We hope to continue that into far into the future, and again, they're getting their feet wet and the ground running on the educational side, and we look forward to working with them. Matt, I believe, is the music director for the SpongeBob show, so that's kind of how this all works together. So thank you very much for having us in the city, and we look forward to seeing everybody this afternoon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cook. All right, city manager report?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. I'd yield my time to Director Murray. I think he's going to give us a brief presentation on public services, and it looks like he's brought his A-plus team.
Thanks, everybody. I'll get started here. I brought a couple of our supervisors here. What I'd like to talk about is something that we usually see the results of the hard work that public services and the city in general does. What I want to talk about briefly is a little bit about what goes on behind the scenes in training to get these individuals working like a team and utilizing the best of their abilities. About a year ago, the Public Services Department in its current rendition was formed, so we've had a chance to work together for about a year now. Obviously, in year one with a group that size, it takes about that long to understand where our capabilities may be or where we can grow. It's a lot of self-analysis, and a lot of professional development. What I wanted to start off by saying is when this was done, and again, I want to thank leadership for putting public services together like this. We had a bunch of meetings up front, and we got the groups together. We identified what the leadership was in those divisions that we were working with, and we identified who those persons were. And then we went immediately to try to identify what their strengths, weaknesses, the entire department, obviously, but the leadership in particular, a lot of self-reflection and a lot of training where we'd identify what their personality traits were, things that came out very objectively on a lot of testing to see, what their internal or external motivations were, where they see themselves fit within the city currently, and where they see their professional development going in the future. This is the stuff that, again, it's not on paper all the time, but realistically, this is kind of how behind the scenes your public services is working. Clearly defining their roles was important in the beginning, and then continuing to define my role. Again, I go into that, and I didn't know about a year ago what we had to work with, and I was very surprised with how much talent and how hard everybody worked. And unfortunately for them, probably, they had to learn how to work in a different system. It wasn't a better or worse system. It was just a system that we were trying to utilize all those talents. Fortunately, as we look over, and if you can just raise your hand, we had some individuals step up very early and show that internal motivation to try to help the city out, not as a division, not as a department, but as a city in whole, in real time and in the future. So I've heard a lot of buzzwords around today about sustainability and the future and current. Those all play, and we want to make sure that our supervisors have that opportunity to learn at that same level that others do. If you would step up, Aaron Prophet, sanitation supervisor, does a fantastic job. We've had some generational storms come up here recently, and with his hard work and Superintendent John Jenkins standing next to me, they were able to provide services that had not been provided in the past with regards to shorter routes, more shifts, and coverage to be able to, I guess, accommodate some of these storms and provide a safe environment still for our residents. So I definitely wanted to thank you guys for that. They come to me with solutions at this point. When we started about a year ago, and I apologize for using me, it's all about them. So they used to come and say, hey, what would we do on this situation? And I'd say, well, tell me the answer, research the answer, and come back. Man, they surpassed me in so many different ways now. They're utilizing talents that supersedes my research talents. So they come to me with answers before I even know what the problem is. And sometimes now they're even adjudicating those problems without me even knowing. And I'll have to come back and say, how did we take care of this? A year later, I can tell you that's a really, really nice feeling to have when you can trust your employees like that. If you would, Dan Wright, could you stand up? Another supervisor in sanitation, but specifically in the mechanics. This is what puts all of your equipment back on the road for the entire city. What we've tried to do is blur the lines between what our resources are, and it's not just a situation where if Mr. Wright, thanks, Mr. Wright, if he needs equipment, trucks, or parts, he isn't, I guess, capped at just using his resource. He can go to fire, police, utilities, any other department, engineering, to try and get resolution. And so I think what they're finding, they have much more resources available to them than they did before. Excuse me. Jess Collins, could you stand up? Jess is one of our newest members. She is administration for public services, and she helped develop the funnel during these last couple of storms that all the calls that all the residents were calling in, or mayor and commissioners, or our city manager, they took that funnel and they were able to, I guess, disperse all of the, they dispersed all of those calls to the appropriate parties, regardless of department or division. How many calls a day did you have, Jess, if you don't remember? Over 100. Thank you. What we're trying to do is, as a department and as a city, is to make sure that our communication is, one, it's open, it's fast, it's relevant, and it's accurate. A lot of times we can get a lot of information, but the accuracy or the context sometimes is a little bit left to be desired. And we've worked really hard over the last year to make sure that we're getting that type of production and that type of accuracy out of all of our employees. So basically, I wanted to say, and again, I think people know this, I believe our biggest asset in the city is our employees. It's not the equipment. It's not some of the, the properties we have. They can do quite a bit given the right, the right paths or different paths and find out where their strengths are. And man, I'm just so proud. A director doesn't usually get to come up and say how proud they are of the community, our employees, the whole 9 yards. And I'm here to say that they're doing it for the right reasons, and I'm very, very appreciative. That being said, John was kind enough to write a few words. He wanted to speak them today. I asked him what he's kind of learned over the last year. What's he doing to help make the city better? And he was going to speak for a second. If you have any questions, please let me know. But again, this is a director saying thank you to this body because you're letting us do our work. We hope it's efficient for you, but I'm also very appreciative of my staff and all the resources and connections they're building throughout the city. So thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Sean touched on a few of these things, but first and foremost, I just want to say thank you to everyone. Over the past year or so, we've been working together as a newly developed team. We are now one big cohesive unit. We hold regular staff meetings, weekly or bi-weekly, to discuss issues at hand, what challenges we are currently facing, and so on. This helps to keep everyone on the loop and allows everyone to provide different perspective and ultimately a solution that is functional, operational, and ethical. I first want to start out by giving praise to my teams, Mr. Murray, Mr. Dave Travis, Chris Tucker, Jesse Collins, Curtis McGraw, Amber Berry, and so on. My mechanic supervisor, Dan Wright, and my mechanics, Brady Carroll, Frank Jones, Brian Lucas, Dave Renfro, Tyler Sparks, Leland Stanford, Jeff Wellman, and automotive parts clerk, Kyle Hensley. My solid waste supervisor, Aaron Profit, and my solid waste employees, Eric Baldridge, Chris Conley, Rodney Kraft, Gary Elswick, Daniel Garinger, Tyson Green, David LaRue, Ricky McGuire, Andrew Nichols, Wesley Rucker, David Reimer, Lee Sammons, Kyle Sesher, Nathaniel Stewart, Ryan Thomas, David Trimble, and Brandon Williams. During this snow event, the week of January 24th through the 30th, the central garage remained staffed around the clock. The crews went above and beyond. They altered shifts, picking up overtime as needed. At the garage, we were prepared. Based upon previous years, we knew preliminarily that we needed to check all street department vehicles and have them up and operational. We knew, based upon years past, what issues typically arise during snow events, so we were able to keep all parts and stuff in inventory and stock so that we can get the trucks back out on the road quickly, efficiently, and make adequate repairs to keep the trucks going 24/7. Solid waste crews altered shifts as well, working Tuesday through Friday, 10-hour shifts. Safety and precautions were executed while working. Every areas that were reachable was collected and very little was left behind, showcasing their commitment to go above and beyond as well. Also, I'd like to touch on, we had 0 automobile accidents, 0 employee accidents. We even done a carpool system for employees that wanted to work but didn't feel safe driving into work. We picked them up, we took them home, whatever we could do to get people in, showing the commitment to the community and the city. I can't say enough good things about this group and this city. We all work together better than ever. And it's just, big thank you to Mr. Murray, kind of showing us that way. It's a change, and it's going well. I think we're in good hands.
We appreciate what you do. I think a city is only good as its services that it provides to the citizens. And you guys are the backbones out there, because that's the calls that we get, it's about services. and you all have come together to do a really good job. And what I think what this commission enjoys is to seeing all the departments working together. You know, they help each other. And you mentioned that. I mean, how the police are involved in letting you know on something, and when you need parts, go from one department to the other. You should be commended, because we put our trust in you guys. I mean, you're the feet on the ground. So we appreciate what you do, and we don't want that to go unnoticed, and we would commend you for what you've done, especially during this ice and the snowstorms. I mean, it's been crazy. I know I'm just repeating, but it's the truth. But we appreciate that. Well done.
Thank you, John.
Thank you all.
And Sean. We can't forget, Dave Travis and the street crew and the work they've done through some serious snow issues, and we appreciate you keeping our community safe. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I neglected Mr. Travis. I apologize. Mr. Travis in particular, he is one that bleeds, and I'm sorry, Mr. Martin, he bleeds the colors of the city. And, rain or shine, anything that's coming, he's going to be out there ready to answer the call. He's one of those types that you don't have to motivate.
Great department. You got great leaders in your department. We
Thank you,
appreciate
everyone.
what you do.
Well done. Include. You're good?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right, with that, we'll move into our public participation, as giving an opportunity for anyone who would like to address the commission on any subject that is not on the agenda. But if anybody would like to address that, you can come to the podium at this time. If you'll state your name and your address, you have 5 minutes, and, yes, sir, you state your name
William
and address.
Reeves, 207 Providence Hill Drive, Apartment 90, Ashland. I'm here today to speak on behalf of the Connecticut People's Union. We had a meeting recently in the park, and we tried to develop a set of goals for our thing. And among the ones were the issues of housing and homelessness and tenant rights. We went through all that. That received several votes. Some of the other issues received votes. When we got done, I got up to speak to the newer members and remind them, because they didn't know about it, that several years ago I was up here speaking to you about the landlord-tenant registry. And they said, well, what was that? I said, most of the commissioners didn't know either. I said, this was an ordinance that was passed several years ago to the city to develop a landlord-tenant registry. And that would actually still, to this day, help anybody with rentals, availability, knowing what they can do, who they can see, instead of sleeping on the sidewalk or in the park or anything like that. So we would urge you to re-adopt that again. If you remember, if any of you were here last time, the city commissioner did bring it to the vote in the past. Like 2 weeks later, they had another meeting, and about 40 landlords showed up and said, well, we can't do that. This will be landlord New York City rent control. So the next week, the city commissioner dropped that. So I'd like you to reconsider that decision.
All right, thank you, sir. Any others like to address the commission? Hearing none, we'll move into our old business, item A.
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute task order number 26-01 between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and Strand Associates, Inc. for preparation of the annual 2025 combined sewer overflow reports for the Department of Utilities in an amount not to exceed $22,500.
So moved.
Second.
How long would or how often do we have to do these reports?
They're annual.
Annual? Okay.
When did, it began with the consent order, Mark. When was that?
Don't hold me.
What year? Around 2010 or something?
2010, 2012 era.
Is this 22,500, has that been a set amount that has been,
It's very.
has it gone up with,
But they very rarely expend the full amount. They
Okay,
only
it's up
charge
to.
us for what what they actually do.
so this is not to exceed 22.5, is that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right, any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item B,
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, repealing ordinance number 117, series of 2025, which authorized an agreement with First United Methodist Church as a subrecipient of $5,000 from the Community Development Block Grant.
So moved.
Second.
discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item C,
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an agreement with the Salvation Army of Ashland, the subrecipient of $5,000 for operating costs from the Community Development Block Grant.
So moved.
second?
You had a
Oh,
second.
you said, oh, I'm sorry. All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I abstain.
Item D,
Second reading and final adoption of an ordinance entitled, An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, imposing a temporary moratorium on the acceptance, processing, and approval of applications related to data centers for a period of 180 days pending review and recommendation by the Planning Commission.
motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve this.
All right, have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
You know, I think it's pivotal that we approve this at this moment. That would give our staff, administrative staff, enough time to review these data center proposals or what could potentially have interest in our community and see where it lines with our zoning and BZA regulations. I know that there's a lot of public comment on data centers locally, whether it's in Ohio, Southern Ohio or in West Virginia. So I think that we need to get a good grasp on what this could do to our community before we, move forward with it.
And that's true, even with us, I mean, some of the other cities have had some issues with these and some positive and negative, and then we can get a lot of information from
Well, a
everybody else.
6-month time period ought to suffice for Planning Commission to review and get things
Yes.
together.
Yeah, if they complete the review quicker than that, we'll bring it back to you. I mean,
Okay.
it's not right at 6 months. They'll
Well, it would be kind of crazy to adopt something without looking at it pretty closely.
That's that, I agree.
In all reality, there's not that many places in the city where something like this could go.
That's true,
Well,
too.
Could. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, consent agenda.
A resolution of the City of Ashland, Kentucky, adopting, authorizing, and approving the course of action presented by the city manager on the items appearing on the consent agenda for the regular meeting of the Board of City Commissioners of February 26, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
First and a second, any questions?
I would comment that we've got 3 awards, and they'll be in the new business, of demolitions to a contractor that, and giving them 60 days to complete. Do you feel like that's going to be sufficient time, Mr. Adkins? Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Pullum.
Thanks for the chance to speak on this. Actually, yeah, typically it won't take them 60 days. 60 days is a pretty big window, but
It's just, have all 3 in one contractor, and I was just curious as to whether you think that
Well, depending
being
on
able to do all three in that 60-day period.
depending on the property, they can usually tear them down in a day or two, and then you've got to haul off the grading and seeding after that. So I would think with that amount, I think we would be okay within that 60 days.
Okay.
And if anything should change, I'll alert the commission
Thank you,
immediately.
Mr. Pullman.
Thanks.
I had a question, just a comment on, on the generator at the police station. I know, I'm really glad we did this so that we can continue to operate our emergency services in times of need like that. But also had a question about our gas pumps, to be able to, supply their vehicles with gas during these times when electricities are out. Are we focusing on that?
Yes, we are, and I think Mr. Atkins is going to
Okay.
give us a brief presentation on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
This is something that was brought to our attention by the city manager about a month ago, and we've been investigating that, myself and Mike Garlinger. For those of you who don't know Mike, he's a professional electrical engineer, so we've been working together, plotting out a plan. He's been meeting with John and Dan, and we're getting a plan put together right now, and we're looking for local contractors and also trying to purchase local equipment locally. So, but yeah, we have a plan put together, and we're putting the finishing touches up on it now. But yeah, we expect to have a generator installed at the central garage here within the next couple months.
Excellent. Good deal.
Question on item E, and it may be you, it may be Mr. Pullum again. This is on $38,000 sidewalk on Ferry Street. The item says that the contract start date was January 5th. Is that right?
I believe that's one from Mr. Pullum's department.
I can attest that this work, I travel that area often, and this work has actually progressed very quickly. They've done a lot of work, and, I was really surprised that how they could work in colder weather and inclement weather, but they've done quite a bit of work on Ferry Street sidewalks.
Well, we already have the work's being done, and we've got approval of the contract on the agenda.
That's a pay increase.
Okay,
Or
it's a
pay,
pay
excuse me,
increase.
excuse me, a pay invoice.
Gotcha.
Pay
Yeah, it's just
invoice.
for payment, yeah.
It's $150,000, is that what it was?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
And it was budgeted, it's in an action plan, it was.
Why would we
approved by
do
the
both
committee.
sides, why would we do both sides of a street?
I'd defer to Mr. Pullum.
Just curious. I mean, ordinarily, if you do a street, it's one side. And this, we've done both sides?
Commissioner Martin, I'll have to apologize. I cannot recall why we chose to do both sides. I'll have to go back and check with Jacob Reisner
I'm
to
curious
be
as to
sure.
why we would do both sides.
Okay, I'll get you an answer.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, any other comments or questions? All for the vote.
Wait, one more, I'm
Sure.
sorry. We're donating 3 buses to the Boyd County Fiscal Court, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do we have idea of the values of these?
I do not have a value now.
Pardon me?
I said, I do not have a value
Gotcha,
right now at
gotcha.
this time.
I
I'm
think
sure there's
we
someone
had
that
the
did.
same issue
Same
at the
on the-
last meeting about the tasers
Tasers,
and
yeah.
the ammunition.
These buses we've had for many years, usually around auction time, we usually get $3,000 or $4,000 a piece out of them. I don't know what the Blue Book value or anything would be, but I could do some research.
Well, do we attribute some value when we make the transfer?
The FDA decides that they are ready to go on the usage with mileage, and we're probably 100,000 over on each one of those. they don't do it on monetary value.
It's on the mileage and the lifespan of the vehicle.
Yes, and we exceed both of those greatly.
Thank you.
All right, any others?
All I've got.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we'll move into our new business. Item A.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a mutual aid agreement between the City of Ashland, Ashland Fire Department, and Boyd County Emergency Management, and repealing ordinance number 139, series of 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Second. On the details of this, I know this will actually bring in to do the agreement, but then we got to work out the details. I mean, in the bottom part, it says remaining work.
Chief, can you come up, please?
I mean, we've
It's my
probably done this
understanding-
before, right?
Yeah, this actually renews every couple of years, and there's currently, it's my understanding.
This is a standardized agreement that is signed and updated every 2 or 3 years. Pretty much when it is signed, that fulfills the obligations through the state that we have a mutual aid agreement with that agency, and they have one with us.
Chief, one comment I'd make, I think termination notice of 10 days is pretty short. In my opinion, it ought to be a minimum of 30 days notice to withdraw from the.
This agreement is what they sent us.
I'm
to-
not,
yeah.
I'm just saying, since you're negotiating I think it ought to be a 30-day
I'll
termination notice.
talk to Tim and see if that can be worked out.
Okay. All right. Any others? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Is that approval with the change of?
That's just a suggestion, I'm not,
Okay. Gotcha.
it's in the negotiation part of it.
I made a note of it, sir.
Okay. All right, item B.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract with Tri-State Construction for the purchase of all labor, materials, equipment, and services for the demolition and removal of all debris at 1620 Poplar Street in the amount of $4,960 for the Department of Community Economic Development to be paid from the general fund."
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item C.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract with Tri-State Construction for the purchase of all labor, materials, equipment, and services for the demolition and removal of all debris at 3445 South 29th Street in the amount of $4,780 for the Department of Community and Economic Development to be paid from the general fund."
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, item D.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract with Tri-State Construction for the purchase of all labor, materials, equipment, and services for the demolition and removal of all debris at 1204 Long Street in the amount of $4,980 for the Department of Community and Economic Development to be paid from the general fund."
So moved.
Second.
First and a second. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item E.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and approving change order number 1 between the City of Ashland, Kentucky and Judy Construction Company for the Ashland Water Resource Recovery Facility Expansion and Improvement Project, decreasing the contract in the amount of $724,500 for the Department of Utilities."
So moved.
Second.
I think we've already had discussion there. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, item F.
First reading and approval of an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Ashland, Kentucky authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract with Lights Enterprises, Inc. for the purchase of all labor, materials, equipment, and services for the demolition and removal of all debris at 1430 39th Street in the amount of $3,800 for the Department of Community and Economic Development to be paid from the general fund.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Do we need executive session?
Yes, Mayor, for property acquisition.
Okay. All right, a motion to move into executive session for possible
So moved.
property? Okay.
Second.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
All right, for those of you that won't be here when we come back, we appreciate you coming and look forward to coming down to the Paramount Theater Ashland at 4:30. Thank you all. All right, we're back in session from our executive section, and no action was taken there, but I believe we may have a motion.
A motion to grant Mr. Pullum authority as discussed in closed session in regard to purchase of a parcel of property on behalf of the city.
Second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, any other business?
Oh, I want to adjourn today's meeting in the memory of Joyce Bibb. She just recently passed. She was a longtime resident of our community, a champion for our region, and a champion for me and my family. So I'd like to adjourn in her memory.
Very good. All right, we stand adjourned.